I mean, for me, the shock came a little bit backwards. On yeah, well, I'll select detour, but the story with what opened me up to all this, and I don't want to get into more modern things because this isn't what our subject, our channel, or our campaign, if you like, or our group is about. But I was taking my little boy, who's running around there now, about 11 years old. He's only about 4, so it's probably about 7 years ago I started on this, that's all. Before then, I was Mr. Straight down the middle. I would take on anybody in a history quiz with a conventional quiz, right? Mastermind, whatever. I'd beat anybody on the conventional British history. And that's what I was brought up with. I love history. I'm a bit of a fanatic, right? My job is to be painting little soldiers, the whole thing. Now, one day, walking my little boy to school, he's a bright lad, Arnie, giving him a little potted history of the 20th century. And we've gone through World War I and the Treaty of Versailles and the reparations that Germany had to pay and its hyperinflation and, you know, the currency became nothing, the debased, and this how the economy was stuffed. I put it a little bit more simple than that. He was only 4. But anyway, he got the hang of it. And then we started talking about World War II. And like all little boys, he loves tanks and all that kind of stuff. And he'd seen Panzers and Tigers and all this wonderful kit. And he says to me, "Oh, Daddy, I thought you said that the Germans had no money after World War One." And I was like, "Yeah, that's right." He said, "Well, how do they pay for all these tanks and things?" And I was like, "That's a very good question, son. You go to school. I will go and have a look, see what I can find out. And when you finish school in a few hours' time, hopefully Daddy will have some answers for you." And of course, when I searched into all this, and I said I don't spend too long on that, but this is when your whole eyes get opened up. It doesn't take much research. It's harder now. The internet's been closed down. Censorship is taking over. Very difficult to find these things. And I'm only talking 7 years ago. Even the difference in those 7 years is quite enormous. And you look into who financed World War II, and you find it's the American German Bank. It was the Bank of England. Support the British had, how they manoeuvred the war to start, how they worked with Poland, France, Britain to try and... the whole thing. The biggest shock, do you know where the Nazi headquarters was in the 1930s? Give you a few seconds to answer it. It wasn't in Germany. There's your first clue, okay? It wasn't in Europe. It was 40 Times Square, New York City, America. Yeah. Anyway, that's another can of worms. But anyway, you start looking into that, and then you find other stuff. 9/11 and then I stumbled on these, the Richard Hall channel, which I would still highly recommend, Rich Planet. And on there I saw the forensic historians and opened my eyes all about British history. And you have to be prepared at that point to come in, like now, if this is your first time seeing it, with an open mind and go, what is this about? Does it stand up? Don't go in, what a load of nonsense, and then watch it like this, or like this. Because we don't move forward like that, alright? It's a complete diversion, sorry about that. Anyway, so there you go. So that's how I got into all this. And then you start looking into the history and you realise, yep, there's physical and written evidence for all this.